Sometimes other people's testimonies can hinder our faith. We can think, well, if God did it that way for them, then he's going to do it the same way for me. And sis, no. If he did it for someone else, he can do it for you. But that doesn't mean he will do it. And if he does do it, that he'll do it the exact same way. Last year around this time, I wrote a blog post called Forget Every Love Story You've Ever Heard. I got a lot of emails, a lot of text messages, a lot of DMs about how the words I wrote in that blog post set them free from this thinking they had been having for months or maybe even years. So I'm here to tell you to forget every love story. When I first moved to New York, I was on the heels of a couple of breakups. I wasn't a new believer, but I was new to taking it seriously. I had really committed my life again to Jesus. At that point, I was interested in learning what dating as a Christian should be like. So I found myself in these circles where so much about singleness and about dating, about marriage was spoken about, to the point that I was just overwhelmed. Relationship this, relationship that, how to know if he's the one and worth the wait, and oh my gosh, all the things. And in that season, I came to devise a list of all the qualities I thought that my perfect man would have, who he would be, his character, what he might look like, all the things. I'm sure you have a list. All of those years of that information gave me a viewpoint that was not helpful in dating. So here's the thing. I love a good testimony, a good love story. But what I find is we can sometimes look at someone else's love story and hold it up against our own, or lack thereof, and make it seem like ours isn't enough. So testimonies stir up our faith. They encourage us to dream bigger, to believe bigger, to pray harder, to have greater faith. But sometimes, either by the way it's communicated or by the way it's received, we can think that someone's testimony is the standard. You know the stories I'm talking about. We didn't do this, we didn't do that, we did this, we did that. You should do the same because we did it and it worked for us. I mean, this applies obviously to more than just relationships, but a lot of times, especially in Christian culture, people take their own testimonies to be the standard for what everyone should do. Sometimes other people's testimonies can hinder our faith. We can think, well, if God did it that way for them, then he's going to do it the same way for me. And sis, no. If he did it for someone else, he can do it for you. But that doesn't mean he will do it. And if he does do it, that he'll do it the exact same way. Honestly, it can shrink our perception of who God is. We can put him into a box, and when we're praying and when we're believing and when we're envisioning what that answered prayer will look like, we think it should look a certain way, and we hold on to that so tightly that when it does happen, we miss it. We don't realize that our prayers have been answered. We don't realize that we are receiving the blessing that we have been praying for. And it's because of these love stories that we've held on to as our own. And I should know because I'm guilty of it myself. And I should know because I'm guilty of it myself. And I should know because I'm guilty of it myself. One of the biggest lessons I have learned in dating is to forget every love story. Forget them all.
I'm sitting at the nail salon and I just thought I should tell you. Forget the way your favorite couple met. Forget the way your favorite couple met. Forget the way your favorite couple met. Forget how they met, got engaged, and married all in 1 year. Forget how she saw him in a dream before she even met him. Forget how he knew from day one that she was the one. How He came walking in with a red flannel shirt on, and that was exactly what she prayed for, and so she knew he was the one. Forget every love story. Forget it.
Forget your parents. Forget your pastors. Forget your bosses, your mentor. Forget them because they're not yours and they're not meant to be. And that, to me, is encouraging. Sometimes we get so caught up in other stories that we forget to live our own. We forget that what God has for us really is for us.
So my first day of filming was cut short, but I'm back to hit you with the wrap up.
I'm not saying don't be inspired by the stories of your friends, your pastors, your mentors, your favorite couple on Instagram. I'm saying to challenge yourself to live like God is writing the best story ever starring you. I believe He is. If it's your first time here, which it probably is, please consider liking, subscribing, commenting, and sharing. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Life is Deleesh. Now go live abundantly.
Do I have to move so I'm not making any noise?
Yes, unless you're gonna sit down and watch. Now don't be in the kitchen doing dishes. Is that what you were gonna do?
No, but